Alrighty, well, it is Tuesday, February 18th at 5 o'clock, and I'm calling the Middlesex Select Board meeting to order, the last of our year before elections. So this is our last board makeup the way that it is, and Randy's not here to celebrate, so maybe he'll show up. Okay, so welcome everyone in person as well as on Zoom. Alrighty, so we're gonna approve the minutes of the February 4th, 2025 regular select board meeting. Is there any changes or questions about that, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I don't have any changes.
Okay, so,
I'll second it.
okay, so Peter moves and Vic seconds approving the minutes of February 4th. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, and next, we're going to approve the agenda for today, February 18th. Sarah, are there any additions to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, or amendments or anything? Okay. So is there a motion?
I move.
Okay, so Vic moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Zara seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Woo, all right. The motion passes and we can continue on with our meeting. Okay, 5:05, we've got Sandy here, slightly ahead of schedule, to tell us about the V-Trans demonstration project to slow traffic in Middlesex Village, and considering a resolution to submit request to V-Trans for Phase 1 consultation. Action likely. Please take a seat, Sandy, and tell us all about this.
Do you all have this?
Yes.
And is Ruben on?
No.
No, okay.
We have Madeline. I'm not sure who Madeline is.
Do you need that?
I got one of them.
No,
Okay, no.
Ruben from the Regional Planning Commission. I've been
Okay.
working with him.
Okay.
A bit of background, this comes out of the work that we did to look at ways to add sidewalks and slow traffic in Middlesex Village generally. And one of the opportunities is to have a demonstration project, which is just temporary things that get put in place, paint on pavement, temporary barricades, to try some things out. They have to be up for only, I think, a month. And I've been working with the transportation person at the Regional Planning Commission, and also with Russ Bennett at Red Hen, to come up with what would be a design that we could do to start to narrow that road there, sort of delineate where parking could be. And the Regional Planning Commission has the temporary barricades that could be put up. There's a number
Recording in progress.
There's a number of V-Trans requirements as to who's going to do the work and how it gets done. I was just ready to go out there in the middle of the night and just put them up there, but they said, no, that's not okay. V-Trans needs a resolution from the Select Board, and I gave you the language for that, and it is that the Select Board resolves to submit an application to V-Trans for a Phase 1 consultation on a proposed demonstration project to improve safety and slow traffic in Middlesex Village. So we need to consult with V-Trans, make sure they're okay with this, because this is within the V-Trans right-of-way. And that's what we're asking the Select Board to do. And we're hoping to get this all done and work through V-Trans and get it in place in May or June.
This actual setup?
Mhm.
Like the actual?
Well, I don't know that this is a draft.
Yeah.
V-Trans has to make, say what they're gonna say.
Okay.
Is there any cost to it?
No, because well,
Well,
I'm afraid they might want some road crew people, because they didn't want me going out there in the middle of the night and doing it. So I think we may need some staff to help put this up. The Regional Planning Commission has the barricades, and they have the flagger that needs to be in place to slow traffic down, but I don't know if they'll accept volunteers like me going in there and putting the tape on the ground and sticking it in.
They need more professional.
Yeah.
So have we consulted with the merchants in the village to make sure that where we're proposing to do this isn't going to upset anybody, that they would be happy to see our temporary barricades in front of their business?
Good question. We have well, we've certainly spoken with the Camp Mead folks, and they were involved in this as well. And we have, it's a draft, it's not final yet. We've had some meetings about it, so no, I haven't, gone into all of the business there and talked about it, but that's a good thing once we get it kind of developed to show it to folks.
I would just suggest we, ask for permission rather than ask for forgiveness, as they say. Because somebody might get upset if all of a sudden this thing appeared in front of their place of business. And if the Camp Mead folks are willing to do it, if push comes to shove, just do it in front of Camp Mead.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I remember when there was surveying going on and there were markers in people's front yards and people got upset by that. So yes, we will make sure that we reach out to folks beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
So would people walk,
To the right of the cars that are, it looks like there's still parallel parking that's gonna be allowed. So will the sidewalk, this temporary sidewalk be to the right of the car or to the left of the car and the traffic?
The walk, to the extent that that's my phone and I apologize, I didn't turn it off.
Go turn it off.
I was gonna say.
The walking would be away from the road, from the
Yeah.
barricade.
Okay.
And I don't even know that, I don't know if they're doing parallel parking there. I know they have in the past, but I feel like they've
It
shut
looks
that
like
down.
they're letting
Yeah,
it go, right?
they're sort of kind of creating bump outs to protect and then allow, I think, for some parking there and some walking. Mostly it's to see if narrowing the road and putting some visual cues in there and a crosswalk in there is helpful to slow traffic, and then we can do a speed study while this is in place.
Alrighty, so does anyone else have any questions about
Yes.
this request? Yes, Vic?
The big question I have, because, I talked to a lot of people about this. Everybody thinks it's crazy that I talked to. Now, this isn't, the upper crust of Middlesex, but
They think what is crazy?
What's crazy?
to do this, to impede traffic going down through there. Because number one, if you do this, we're gonna end up plowing it.
Do you mean if there were real sidewalks?
Well, isn't this the ultimate goal?
We had, this is a demonstration project to see how it could function. The ultimate goal is put forth in both a design study and then a scoping study that we did and had a lot of public process for, invited everybody in town, we surveyed residents in town, and it was based on that, all of that input. And, both the design study and the planning commission received awards from the Planners Association for that work. I don't think it's crazy, but sometimes awards are given to crazy people.
No, I don't see any need for it at all, none whatsoever.
I will say that we've gotten a lot of feedback from both businesses and residents in the area that they feel they take their life in their hands when they try to walk to go in and around the businesses in town. And the businesses in terms of cars pulling in and going out, and it's dangerous with cars moving through there at 50 miles an hour.
And what about the trucks?
The trucks move in and out of there too.
Yeah, But what I'm saying, it's a lot more difficult for a big truck to go through this than it is a car.
Maybe they'll go
Then
slower.
we're gonna hear about that. That's kind of part of the test, isn't it?
Yes, Zara?
So it's temporary. We're gonna start in May. How long is it going to go?
30 days, I think, is their limit.
Oh,
It can only be up for 30 days.
all right.
Does it coincide with anything that's actually happening in town to see if it actually, it's like not the height of the summer when there might be concerts or something like that, and it'd be more useful?
No, May.
I mean,
Definitely
there's not a specific time frame that it's going to be. We wanted to have it happen in the summer when there is stuff going on at Camp Mead and so on.
So when you say May,
I
that's,
just said,
you
you know.
just threw it out there.
I threw out May. I don't know
Okay.
that we're gonna get all the V-Trans, you know, what their say on it.
Right. I mean, I think if we were to do it, we would want to do it sort of in the height of summer when there's concerts and stuff like that to see if it actually, you know, has an impact.
and eyeball it for plowing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think,
Let's have it in January.
I think in terms of sidewalks, not that we want to get into deep details about this, but I think that, you know, having a pedestrian-friendly downtown has the potential to attract more businesses and to bring in, you know, to have it be a downtown that people visit and spend money in, as opposed to a downtown where people don't want to go to necessarily the next store because it's like, oh, it's so close, but I'm too scared to drive over there. I mean, I'm too scared to walk over there. And if there were sidewalks, I think we'd potentially see, I mean, the idea is that it's supposed to improve your economic development, right? That's the whole point, is to get people to come to your little village and spend money. So it, in my mind, it just sort of enhances life in Middlesex, would be to have a pedestrian-friendly downtown. Like, imagine Montpelier without sidewalks. Nobody would go. Yes.
No idea what I'm doing here.
Oh,
Okay, can someone put her on mute? Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, the button right there.
Yeah,
Is this one?
it's Madeline Bauman.
Oh, it's Madeline, or is it
I
the
think
one that just?
I don't know what I'm doing here, guys, sorry. I don't know.
Are you here for this meeting?
You put her on mute now.
Maybe she doesn't really want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
somebody's got their hand raised.
Okay, who is the iPhone with their
They
hand
just
raised?
came in the room.
That'd be me, Stephen Dennis.
Oh, hi, Stephen. Did you have something you wanted to say, to ask?
I just really would like to know, over in the last year, we put together an entire committee to help the road crew combat the strain that is put on them on a weekly basis and even daily basis in some cases, like this massive storm. And I just want to know which one of you thinks it's a great idea to just burden them further without giving them additional resources? Because I'm just super perplexed why this is even on the table until we actually get a road crew that can handle the amount of work that we have, instead of having a road crew that's overburdened and overworked all the time and putting more on their plate. I think that that is just absolutely ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Zara?
Eric, are you up for this? For how many hours do you think it would take, Sandy? A couple hours to?
I mean, I don't know what's entailed to do it. I really don't.
Well, I think at this point, all we're doing is getting a resolution to attempt to do this. Is that correct, Sandy?
Right, it's a resolution to consult, to ask for consultation with V-Trans about this.
Right, and so if we then find out that it requires, 50 hours of work
We
from.
can say no.
We can say no. Or maybe they'll allow us to do volunteers
Yeah.
to be able to do it, because they have the flagger, right? You said they have a flagger that they provide. So does anyone have any more comments or questions about this? Yes.
I
Zara.
guess, so if we were to make a motion, then it would be considering a
was trying to
resolution to
talk.
submit request to V-Trans for phase one consultation. Do we add, based on what the businesses have to say, or do we just?
Put anything you want? Sure.
You can add whatever you'd like to it. This is just, what we're looking for is just the select board's request for a consultation with V-Trans to
Move forward.
to review and move forward, because they need to do that. And, as far as this being part of what, is with the roads in town, this has been part of the work of both the planning commission and other work in town as well.
I mean, I like the idea of trying new things. I don't want to put a lot of work and onus on our road crew, who I do agree a little bit with Steve that, you know, they have a lot of work. But I would make the motion to consider a resolution to submit request to V-Trans for Phase 1 consultation.
I know. Before we do that, Peter, what is the question that you have?
Oh, sorry.
I just had a comment, which is I remember when we discussed this in some detail. I believe it was this fall, Sandy. When was it we talked about this the last time?
Last one.
It was, I believe,
For the flood.
it was before before the flood last summer.
Okay. What I remember is that I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, we concluded that the impact on the road crew for the demonstration project was relatively minimal. Obviously, if we go forward with some bigger project, it does have the potential to be more. But for this demonstration project, I think it is pretty minimal. Isn't that correct?
That's my understanding. And I believe they can use volunteers. We may need to get some help from the road crew, but obviously wouldn't do it in a way that would burden them. And if we did, we could figure out if the Regional Planning Commission has money to hire additional staff to do it.
Okay, so Zara made a motion that we move forward with the resolution. Is there a second? Okay, Peter seconds. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of moving forward with the resolution, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, Vic is opposed. The ayes have it. We will move forward. Do we need to sign something? You have to write a letter or anything like that?
If you have the resolution in the minutes, I can,
the resolution in minutes. Okay.
and I can pass that on to V-Trans.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
great. You're welcome. Thanks for coming,
Thanks,
Sandy.
Sandy.
All right, let's see. Now we are at, perfect timing, the highway report and FEMA roadwork update. And Zara has some very exciting news for us, but first, let's go to the road. I'm gonna hold us in
Eric's
suspense.
got exciting news too.
Okay.
I do. I don't really have much to report on. We've just been plowing. And
How's that storm?
Oh,
How'd
it
it manage? How'd you manage?
we managed.
Yeah, it was a holiday,
Mm-hmm.
right, so
It
you
was
guys
more
are
than just a
getting
holiday.
ching ching, a little extra money for that snow. Good thing it fell on a Monday.
He would have taken the day off.
I would have been just fine with a day off.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, everything's working, and this week we plan on clearing back the banks.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of work. Did you see that Max Gray Road was closed, I think because of the
Yeah.
wind,
Oh, the
right?
wind was horrible.
The wind
last
was
night.
crazy, just covering up all of the work that you guys had done, right? It was hard, but it's probably good that it was cold too. Or
Mhm.
does that help with the plowing?
Well, yeah, cold
As
snow
opposed to-
is traction snow, so.
Yeah.
Turn the heater up.
Yep.
Yes, Zara.
I'm curious where they get the amount of snow reports from. Because we had Waterbury
they?
came in as Waterbury Center came in as number 1 at 18 inches, and I think we had more.
Oh.
Does Middlesex doesn't report? It's not like the AOT down there?
We don't have like a
I think there are weather people that
They said
report
on the
and
news,
send it
every
in.
town was, I think it was on the Channel 5, they said if you went to their website, or Channel 22, if you went to their website, every town reported
Well,
something.
it also it depends on where in town you measure.
Right,
Exactly.
that's for sure.
Because there's a big difference between here and North Bear Swamp.
Yes. I think there are weather buffs who like send in they record and they send in, and that's how they get their information. Because none of us are out there calling the weather station telling how much we got. No, are you? You're not reporting that, are you? Are you at the fire station? So it's the weather buffs.
I don't stop to call them.
Right. I just wanted to report that we have 21 inches. We have the most in town, in central Vermont.
I shoveled way more than 18 inches.
Yeah.
That's what I feel
Yeah.
too. Okay, so, and the trucks worked out fine, and you had enough staff and everything?
Yep.
Right, okay, good. Well, thank you for these roads. I know that was a tough one. Yes, Vic, sorry.
Just a couple of questions out of curiosity. What happened on, like McCullough Hill Road, from where it comes off East Hill and goes towards, almost all the way to where where you come out into the old class 4.
Mhm.
It looks like the plow was bouncing up and down.
Yeah. That
It
seems
is,
like-
that's
yeah.
what it's doing.
Yep,
But it doesn't seem to do it all the way, but
no. I think once it starts hopping, it just hops. That truck, the angle of the plow of that truck is really aggressive.
Yep.
And it doesn't take much for it to catch, and once it does, it jumps.
yeah. Other question I had was, what happened to the stop sign at the end of Great Brook Road
Well, that,
or whatever?
that one, we need to put a new post in.
That was Steve Dennis,
That one was a phone call of someone hitting it.
and then he.
Somebody hit it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay, thanks.
Yes,
I would like to make a comment to the road department officially from somebody who, I'm very reliable, who travels East Hill, Terrace Street, Berlin Street, all through the storms. Middlesex far outshined Montpelier and Berlin.
yay, Middlesex, woo! Thank
Good
you,
job.
Eric, and team, go Team Road crew. That's awesome, thank you, Jeff, for sharing that good news. Okay, so anything else on, is, the weather for a while is gonna be cold, it looks like, so we don't
Yeah,
have to
but
worry
no
about.
snow.
No snow, right, so we don't have to worry about like some horrible melting and rain or anything like that. Okay.
No, it's supposed to warm up next week, but that'll be okay.
Okay. Well, eventually it has to warm up.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Zara, tell us the exciting news.
Well, first of all, I do want to say, you know, as much as you guys have hired me as the FEMA coordinator, Eric's the one with all the knowledge, so he's our real hero in this. We have finally gotten our federal share of the group from Government, Shady Rill, and Culver Hill. So the gross of that was about 700,000, and we got 634.6 thousand.
Wow.
The federal
Yes,
share.
that
came in
deserves
today.
a cheer.
That came in today. Now Brook Road, they didn't mention to us at all, but that was 155, and that one was obligated too, so maybe we'll have another little 100,000 coming, or maybe that was the prepayment, that we got $1,000 for.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not sure.
Cheryl said they didn't take out the prepayment out of that payment that we got.
So maybe that was
might be,
Covered Brook Road.
could be.
Or maybe there's more coming. And then, behind that, probably about a month away, Wood and Macy Bulldog got its final to CRC, so we're looking at about 435,000 coming there in another month.
Okay.
So slowly but surely, we're knocking them all down.
So we should probably, because we still have to talk about this summer, right? And, you said in a month, hopefully?
In a month, the 435, also this week, we're giving them some 4810s.
Okay.
So Brook Road alone was over $1 million. With Old
Center
Brook,
Road and
it
East Hill.
makes it $2 million. Well, no.
No.
No, Old Brook was 96,000. Old Brook was 1,175,000. Center Road, I've got it about 607,000. East Hill Road, I got at 295,000 right now, and Portal is 23. So I think there's probably more for Center Road that I don't have listed. But those are what's being sent for.
Well, I'll have to
48.
look at that, because I thought it was completed.
Yeah, I didn't send everything because I need to get with you first.
It's fine.
So maybe at the second board meeting after the first board meeting with the new people, we really look at the numbers to see where we're at in terms of how much money has come in, what we assume we're gonna get. See, I don't wanna make any assumptions about what we're gonna get, but,
Yeah, and Sierra was on our meeting, not today, but the last time, and she's helping us with the state as well. Because where we're at is we would need to get bids out.
I know.
Sooner than later, yeah.
right, and then we are going to have to, I mean, do we know anything about the 2024 flood money?
That's what I was just saying with the Brook and Old Brook.
Oh, that's
Yes.
And
twenty
East
twenty-four.
Hill. Those are starting to move finally because they're finally able to
That's not
accept them.
4810 though, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the other one? 4370?
4720.
4720, okay. But we still don't have everything from 4720,
Correct.
No.
right. I guess my question is, do we feel like we may need to bond?
Maybe.
We might.
Strong possibility.
There's a strong
I
possibility.
mean, luckily, the big box culverts that we have planned for Dirt Tech, those are $1 million, and those were part of the 4720 that we've already billed them for. So as we're getting paid back for those roads, that upfront money we will have.
Yeah.
Upfront.
Okay, we just have to be able to make sure that we have money to pay these people.
Mhm.
That's my biggest worry.
Yeah, we'll probably have to bond.
Yes, Peter?
We heard anything, and I hate to even ask this question, but have we heard anything about what's going on with FEMA and what the prospects are? Because, boy, if you read the stuff in the paper about what's going on with FEMA, they're cutting back on flood relief, they're cutting back on the forest fires, they're doing all kinds of stuff.
Our rep, Christina, who we work with, told us that she did not take the buyout that was offered to her, but she also indicated that the 2 hazard mitigation people that we had been working with are now gone, and there's new people to replace them. So she's gotta reteach them.
But like, were they fired because of this, or?
She didn't say.
Right,
But didn't we have that same scenario before
yes,
Yes.
before the November election?
Yes.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I would say, just given the climate in the federal government, that we can't make any assumptions based on past.
Nope.
Past experience is not going to form our, if anything, it's gonna make us more cautious.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I almost feel like, we have to kind of operate on the assumption that we're not gonna get anything. I mean, it's great that we started getting that, but like, I just don't, I don't know.
Well, in all fairness, and one thing we did, and we all did it, is when we had the 23 flood, we just went, oh, we'll just fix it. FEMA's gonna pay us back.
That's what the
FEMA's
governor-
gonna pay us back.
Guided us to do.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Right, and that was a bad, not bad, it's not a good word, but it was a wise decision. I bet we don't do it in the future.
that's what the governor told us to do, right? It's like, I mean, he said, move forward.
Yeah.
So, and we had to move forward. What are you gonna do? Like, have nobody be able to leave their homes? I mean, it's, yeah, okay. So is there anything else on the FEMA road work updates, Zara?
No, we're meeting again on Friday, and we're starting
Okay.
to send in the 4810 bills.
Well, thank you, Eric and Zara, for all of your work as usual, helping us navigate this, because it's a lot of details, and,
And Eric's gonna be stuck doing site visits for the next couple of days.
did you tell them to bring their snowshoes? And their ice skates?
Well, the last time I did it was, two weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Really?
2 weeks ago, yeah, two,
2 or
3 weeks
3.
ago. Yeah, the gentleman was from Alabama.
Oh, geez. What was he wearing?
Oh, he was decked right out in clothes, don't worry.
Okay.
He had it all on.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. But anyway.
Okay. Alrighty, is there any other questions for the road crew? Or Zara? Okay,
Thanks,
hearing
Zara.
none. Thank you, everybody. And so now we are on to the monthly meeting with the Middlesex Volunteer Fire Department. We've got the department here. We've got Jeff, and remind me of your name.
Brendan.
Brendan, yeah, thank you for coming.
what's your last name?
LaRue, L-A-R-E-A-U.
Thank you for coming. Oh, that's an announcement.
Yeah, because Jeff's here.
Okay, so this was kind of a normal month, but I'm gonna point out a little difference with that. We're up to 10 calls so far for the year, and we had 7 during this period. 2 were mutual aid outs, 1 in. Max response was 9, min was 2, or for an average of 4.5, so we're back up there where we have been since June-ish.
Good.
Engine 1 was out once, 6 none, tanker was out twice, rescue was out once, truck 14 wasn't out, and 3 POV responses. So, like I briefed quickly last time about the mutual aid out to Berlin, to the structure fire on Ember Lane. So we sent our tanker and rescue, with 4 responders. The house was totally gone, by the time I got there, and I was in the second wave going out. And they had, obviously, Berlin, Montpelier, Berry City, us, Waterbury, I think East Montpelier was there. There were a slew of people. So that's kind of the way it works when there's a structure fire, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So the next one we had, Zedon Road, was a lift assist.
Does that mean someone fell and they can't get up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we go to, on the 31st of January, we had East Bear Swamp structure fire, and like I talked about in Berlin, how many guests they had at that one. We had Montpelier, Worcester, Moortown, and us. Ended up, we were on scene only about 40 minutes. The homeowner jumped in and took care of a lot of it, so that I think they just went in with water pressure extinguisher.
Yeah, it was very easy. I was like, do you want to join the fire department?
No! Can you help us?
So that started off what I think is probably a record call, number of calls in a short period of time. And I'll get that to that at the bottom. On the 14th, we had a car supposedly in a ditch on the interstate. It was actually just kind of a slide off, and they just needed to back out. So we were canceled before we could even get there. Then we had a call that we responded to because one of our folks had the equipment to get a 18-month-old child out of a locked vehicle. Waterbury, Waitsfield, and Moortown didn't have the equipment. One of our guys, a tow truck driver, happened to have the lockout tools to be able to do that. He coordinated with dispatch and responded and got the kid out of the car. So that was a mutual aid out. And then yesterday on Center Road, we had a vehicle up and over the guardrail. Driver was fine. I think the car was pretty much okay once it landed. I don't know what it was like once it got pulled back over.
Yeah.
But no injuries there. So Fast Squad, we had 11 Fast Squad only, or total calls, and 10 medical onlys. For training, we did fire extinguisher and chimney fire review. No repairs, no purchases. Hopefully that'll go that way for a while. For the notes, so what I want to talk about, between 6:57 p.m. on the 31st and 1:34 p.m. on the 1st of February, we responded to 5 different calls. One of those was a fire, and 4 were Fast Squad calls. So in 18 and a half hours, we responded to 5 calls.
Oh my gosh, what was happening?
New Year's Eve.
That
New
was,
Year's
there
Eve.
were a lot of Fast Squad calls on Saturday. In fact, I was on one, got called to a second one, so we had one Fast Squad member stay with the ambulance at the first one. I went to the second one. Berry Town had to respond to that one. It was a day to remember.
My
So
goodness.
that just gives you an example of, yes, we may not get a call for a while, but sometimes we get slammed with a bunch of them. So
Thank
that's
you for
kind
doing
of what
that.
we do.
I'm gonna sound like incomplete. I'm so glad that the person was safe, and hopefully their car was safe. How'd that guardrail do on Center Road?
Actually, it's safe.
Oh, good.
There was enough snow against it, they just went right over. It was a ramp.
Now, what happens when that does happen and somebody takes out a guardrail? Does our insurance cover it?
If you.
You can.
You can go after their insurance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But our history of doing that and getting money is not good.
Is not good, huh?
I'm glad the guardrail's okay and the person's okay.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to see.
The
Much better
tires
shape
were
than
not the greatest on the vehicle.
that Delta aircraft up in Kansas.
You can't be going around that bend like that.
That's all I have for.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, I just wanted to make a public service announcement. I forgot to do it on Front Porch Forum. which was for people to clear the snow off their roof because of their vents. I will never forget a story I read of a house blowing up because the vent, the snow had blocked the vent. And it had caused gases to build up.
A bigger issue is the vents on the sides for.
Dryers and stuff.
Hot water heaters
Yeah.
and Renais.
The direct vents that go out the side of the,
Propane.
yep.
Well, my bathroom vent was completely covered with like 3 feet of snow on the roof. I was out there yesterday pulling the snow off the roof. I guess I'm sure it could have vented, but yes.
So it would be great if somebody put something in Front Porch Forum about that. Is that something you'd be willing to
Sure,
do,
we can
Jeff?
do that.
So vents, there's free radon kits right now, at vermont.gov or whatever. I just got myself one, if you wanted to add that to your front porch, like, just do a little safety things.
Can you send me the link to that?
Absolutely, yep.
That'd be great. Thanks, Jeff. for
And
doing
any
that.
other ideas for safety stuff, I'll send to you.
Yeah.
And if anybody else has, yeah,
What?
any
How about
ideas?
shoveling the roof?
Right, and yeah, your roof falling in
Safely.
Yeah.
safely,
Yeah.
right.
Well, look at the barns they just tore.
With the
barn
depth
killed the
with the
cow.
depth of the snow that we have, you could fall
You'd be
off.
falling off the roof.
You're gonna be okay, but.
I don't know, I just worry about some of these old houses with those vents, those bathroom vents, and these little old ladies.
A lot of those old houses are kind of loose.
That's true, they probably have enough air.
I would also say there was that post on Front Porch Forum today about the kids in the snowbank. I had that exact thing happen to me about 4 years ago. I'm plowing this driveway. There's a foot of fresh snow. I'm running around with my great big truck, and all of a sudden these 2 kids pop up out of the snowbank right in front of my truck.
That
Oh,
is-
that's so scary.
oh, it is.
I missed the Front Porch Forum, so.
My kids used to play in the snowbanks. Oh, God, let's not go there.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's scary. It's really scary when it happens.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for the MVFD? Alrighty, thank you guys for coming. Thanks, Brendan, for coming, and thanks everybody for your service to the Middlesex Volunteer Fire Department. Yes.
Okay.
Have some cake on their way out.
Oh, have some cake. Did someone bring you that cake, Sarah?
I brought.
Aw.
Sarah made this cake.
You made the cake?
Yeah, made the cake.
Oh, for the last meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah.
You're too sweet.
She is now with cake.
Aw. I'm gonna have a piece of cake.
Kind is it, Eric?
Looks like lemon.
Vanilla.
Lemon, I think
Oh,
she
lemon?
said.
Oh, yum. Okay, so now we have other business. We've got any correspondence that anyone wants to share? Or is there correspondence?
Yeah, I had sent something, Ann Greensfeld, oh, no, darn it, I forgot what she had said.
Oh, yeah, what did she say?
Who was it?
Oh, yeah, and then that lady sent us, sent Eric and me a link for rivers. There's a river app, or there's an app called,
Oh, for flooding,
for flooding, yeah. It's called, and I downloaded it, it's kinda cool, River Aware.
River Aware,
Yep,
That's
got that.
interesting.
so I downloaded that and I thanked her for that.
River Aware.
I think her name was Annie, or Ann. Wasn't the same Ann.
Okay, this is, inspired to call Susan Clark to suggest that there be a central volunteer board that all the
Oh,
various
right.
committees and commissions could post their volunteer needs on. Susan suggested we use What's Next Middlesex webpage for that.
Thanks, see ya.
To that end, I'm hoping you would take this idea to the select board, the budget committee, and the road committee. The idea is to have a volunteer tab in each group's drop-down. It would include what you can do to help and have a contact listed.
So that would be like on the What's Next Middlesex and also the regular page or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Susan said that she and Lori can help. Is it Lori? Lori
Lowry,
Lowry can help with adding this to the websites.
yeah. I guess it would have to be sort of a, maybe like a fillable form, like a Microsoft fillable form.
Yep.
Um,
And we are talking about doing communications, and we've got a survey out about communications right now too, so.
I'm sorry, it was Sally Kavanaugh who told us about the River Aware.
Okay, cool.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, I think it's a Vermont, app creator, like somebody from Vermont, who, it was posted in the White River Valley Herald. Is White River Vermont?
Yeah, yes.
Serving the community of Vermont's White River Valley, yep.
Yep.
It's a mobile app designed to provide real-time river monitoring and flood alerts.
All right.
So-
We also have that, Waze, right? WAZE that we could be posting on, I've been talking about. that
Waze,
too.
the traffic app?
Yeah, but you could also say road closed.
Oh,
snow,
yes,
or-
yep. Okay, so town meeting preparation, action unlikely. Sarah,
I'm sorry.
town meeting
We're crossing.
preparation, action unlikely.
See, we're catching up on me. What do you want me to do?
I don't know, there's something on the agenda that says town meeting
Well, I think
preparation.
you got, the board usually, the meeting before.
Does anyone want cake?
The meeting before town meeting, you usually discuss what you're gonna discuss at town meeting. So you can be prepared, like, oh, Zara will talk about roads, and Vic will talk about the road crew, and,
I'll talk about what?
I don't know, I'm just thinking stuff up. Liz will talk
We'll talk
about
about you.
grants and how much, where the money over, and I don't know.
How much money we didn't get.
So, that's all.
But when do we do that?
What do you mean,
During town meeting.
during town meeting?
I'll email you.
Yeah, but when during town meeting?
Yeah, we didn't do it last year, did we?
No, I mean, we talked about roads, like when we were talking about the budget, right?
Right.
Well, to be quite frank, I think it would be a very good idea for everybody to be prepared for some hard questions.
Me too.
I mean, really hard questions, especially the roads.
Yep.
Be ready with the numbers, be ready with the plans, be ready, people are, if they come from Lower Sunnybrook Road and they say, when are you going to fix my road, that's gonna be a tough one. You say,
But
What do you
true.
mean, it's
we don't have
fixed?
any money.
Right.
The state hasn't done its hydrologic study. I just, you just wanna be, usually what you should do is kind of assign little topics, so that someone can speak knowledgeably about something. So I think roads and money are gonna be big.
Yep.
Well, Eric, I assume, is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone
And-
should coach him.
Yep, that's
He
fine.
did, I thought he did quite well at the flood.
Yeah, better than he did it.
Better than he did at town meeting, yes, and I think that he's grown in that respect.
Yeah.
So, but I agree that, and I think Zara, when we can sit down and talk about it, but like, I think that, you can speak to the piece around the FEMA work.
Mhm.
I don't want you necessarily talking about you could.
I don't mind, as
potentially.
long as Eric's beside me, we kind of work really well as a team. in
Yeah, I
terms of
think so,
bouncing
too.
things off,
Yep.
so.
But I also think that if you're thinking of doing a bond, if you've got the people who are gonna be there, they're gonna be
To
more
vote
likely-
on the bond.
most likely voters to vote on that bond, but it's gonna have to be by a ballot, it's gonna have to
Yep.
be a special meeting, so to speak, but you don't have to be in person, you just have so this is your chance, since you won't be meeting in person for the bond,
Yep.
to kind of pitch. what's
To
going
talk
on.
about why we're gonna need this money. Right, which is this, yes, so I think that you're right, like I was thinking, oh, let's wait till afterwards, but I think we probably do wanna do the math right now to say this is what we physically have in hand and what we've gotten, this is what we hope to get, but we don't have, this is how much we currently already have in debt, and who we borrowed from, and how we have to pay it back, and if we wanna get this stuff done this summer, we're gonna need X number of dollars.
Mhm.
It's probably unlikely you're gonna be able to get it done.
Well, as I said, the $1 million of those, of the two on Center Road, and I've got the thing here, but the 4 big box culverts that we've
Yeah.
already got the H&H studies, that's already in the,
And we have the people already hired for that, isn't that Dirt Tech?
Yeah.
Right, and I think that has to get done, because I think those jobs have to get completed by a certain time period from the date of the
Yeah.
flood.
yeah. Well, not only that, but if we if we have any others again, we need those big
Right.
box culverts to work.
But we don't have the money right this moment for the box culverts, that we know.
Did Dirt Tech bid on that?
Dirt Tech bid on it, and it's included in the 4720 spreadsheets.
They bid on that last
Or, I don't know if they
Yeah,
bid
it's-
on it, they gave us a.
I think it was just a
they
part of
gave
their
us
work.
They just gave us an estimate, or that was part of the bid when we, whatever, but yes.
It's the 4720
Because
work
we
that
had
never
to
got
have
done.
those numbers for FEMA, so
Right,
it's
and it was already submitted
Yeah.
to, that's
through
in part of our
hydraulic studies.
preliminary numbers.
Yeah, so there's 2 on Center Road, that's gonna add up to $458,380. there's one on South Bear Swamp, and then there's one on Notch Road.
It's like $1 million, right? Isn't it $1 million?
It's $1,028,870.
Yeah,
And that's already in the spreadsheets from 4720, so
Is that hazard mitigation or is that seed work?
it's C work.
See,
but that's money we have to pay for and then get reimbursed by FEMA, right?
No,
Or are you
well, no, the getting reimbursed part is already in the works, because it's in the spreadsheets that I've already presented to them. because
Even though we
they-
haven't done the work.
Even though we haven't done the work.
Okay,
That's good.
so that's good. So Zara, maybe we need to sit down and do like a, what I think might be helpful for people as a handout is like a very basic spreadsheet of like, this is how much we've spent, this is how much we anticipate we still have to spend, this is how much we've gotten from FEMA and what we may get in advance.
And I think,
And
feel
this
like
is how much we're gonna-
Cheryl's already done that, and with the, and this is how much the
Her numbers in the annual report is up to date until this last payment was just
Okay.
received.
right.
And also Cheryl told me that, and maybe she told you this, that she's broken all by road, all the 2024 work, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that happened in July and August, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why people need to bring their town reports to the meeting.
Where is is it a spreadsheet that she's printed in here or no?
No, it was part of her
Part of her dialogue, okay.
Yeah, where
Right.
she pretty much spelled out where we were, yeah.
And I don't, I mean, at town meeting, do people want things down to the penny, or do they want an idea of, it cost us this many million, we've gotten repaid 1.5 million? I mean, that's kind of what they want, right?
Right.
I think what they also wanna know is, what's gonna happen if it floods this summer? Is my road gonna be, is it gonna hold up? And that's an impossible question to answer. But you know that that's gonna be a question that they're gonna, especially people on Lower Sunnybrook Road who are just suffering.
Honestly, I really wanted to ask Paul what roads were rebuilt, because you know the road that I don't see on 4720 or 4810? Molly Supple.
Because he did that. And that really held up.
Really held up, so I'm wondering where the other ones were, what those areas
East
were,
Bear
and how
Swamp.
those,
He did a lot of work on East Bear Swamp.
and what, you know, how that went.
That's a good idea.
Because if that work holds up our roads that much, then we really need to do that work on all of our roads and figure out a way to do that.
That was a huge project.
well, wasn't that the original plan of the roads meetings that we started a year ago? Was that a year ago we started, or 2 years ago?
No,
No,
we just,
last
it was
year, last year.
April
Right,
of '24, it'll be a year that we
Right.
started.
Wasn't that the
road meeting.
original plan to get, 7 or 8 of those?
It had to do with mud roads, yeah, because
Yeah.
we had just come out of a flood and then 5 mud seasons over the winter.
Right.
So that's the first thing that we did, was put together a list of all the roads that need to be rebuilt from the
Because I
bottom.
remember going around with Eric and singling them out. But then we didn't have any money, we went to floods.
Yeah.
Let's Yumi and Cheryl sit down with a computer to make something simple for
Mhm.
people to see,
Yep.
right? And so that we also can, ourselves say, this is how much we think we would have to bond if we need to.
Yep.
So I'll look at my calendar to see when I can
The
do
one
that.
thing about a bond is you can't pay it off early. That's the difference
You
between,
can't?
no. So you need to really think about what you're gonna bond for.
I wonder if the treasurer may have another opportunity to borrow from him again. Did we borrow twice from him or just once?
From the
From our state, yeah.
I don't know on that.
Well, and I remember
I
it
think
was
just
last
once.
March that I was going after the Bernie Sanders. Remember they would
Yeah.
have all that extra federal money that was coming
Now-
in?
But you can do like a
I don't think
10-year
we're gonna
bond
get
or a
that this
5-year
year.
Yeah,
bond,
you
can't
can
you?
change, but they may work with you based on what's happening.
Yeah,
They may
okay.
change, the standard bond is, if you bond for a 30-year bond, you
Right.
have to, they base it on you
30
paying
years.
that over 30 years.
I get why that is.
So, yeah, so, unless they have a special program for this, just be aware that
Okay, gotcha.
It's different than a bank.
Gotcha.
Well, and whatever thing I was doing today, that brick grant that I was looking up, it brought me to something that was talking about a bond for future events like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can bond for the future, or you can bond for indebtedness. So you can bond, and I don't know if you can combine them. I know there's two separate, Sarah had the research done on it, and there's two separate ones. And maybe you can make a combination, seeing they're both allowed.
Okay.
I would think you'd have to divide
You
it.
might have to divide it.
Because some people might say, oh, bond for future stuff, but I'm not bonding for somebody's past debt, I just moved into this town. The bond needs voter approval, because what you're saying is, we're going to dump this debt on future voters, future residents, future taxpayers.
Yep.
Like, we're all paying for U-32,
Yep.
even though a lot of us weren't here when the U-32 bond passed. Are we still paying for U-32?
One way or another. But that makes, like, if we're gonna bond for past debt, that I would kind of not, I'd be cautious about that, because then if FEMA money comes in,
Yeah.
unless you put that money into a nice interest-bearing account to cover,
Right.
which you could do, I mean, essentially, and just have that money there to cover the bond each year or whatever, and make interest on it. I know the school does that. They always take out loans, and if they can get a better return on their money.
Okay. All right. Considering Sarah Merriman's resignation from the position of Select Board, did everyone read this lovely letter of resignation from Sarah? And
I didn't print it out.
I'm sorry to say that I'm going to refuse your letter of resignation, and you have to stay here.
Come on,
Yeah, okay.
have a seat, front and
We're still
center.
finishing up the select board meeting. We're finishing up the select board meeting.
Okay, so Sarah,
Yes.
thank you from all of us on the board for your 12 years of service. You have been absolutely the most helpful person that our board could hope for. And you will be greatly missed.
Thank you, Liz, that's very nice of you.
And I'm sorry to see you go, but I'm also very happy for you. And I do hope that we are in your not-so-cozy mystery.
What?
Um,
No, I don't have a letter.
So is there a motion to accept Sarah's resignation
I
from?
refuse to make that motion.
Peter has made the motion. Is there a second?
Sarah and I are going out hand in hand, right, Sarah?
If there's no second, she can't leave.
I'll second.
Okay, Zara's seconding it.
Knowing the
All
value
right.
of vacationing.
Do we have to vote on this?
traveling.
It's mostly just get it into the minutes.
Okay, all those in favor of regretfully accepting her resignation, say aye.
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 Okay, the ayes have it. Sarah, you are permitted to move on with your life.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, and again, thank you for your amazing service
Well,
to the
thank you for
town.
being a great board.
Yeah,
And humor.
and humor, yeah.
I miss those front
But we're gonna
porch
miss that.
forums.
She can still post. She
Yep.
just can't post as the town clerk.
Yay.
Okay. Any other matter that comes before the board? Hearing none. We can adjourn this meeting and have 5 minutes until our next meeting of the Board of Civil Authorities. We'll have a 5-minute break.